Good afternoon. Fade to black breaking news for this Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. This is all of the news that you need. I'm Jimmy Church. Let's get straight to it. On this day in history, 1982, Graceland, Elvis Presley's home in Memphis, Tennessee, where he died in 1977, was open for public tours and became one of the top tourist attractions in the United States on this day in 1982. Here's your fader fact, and it's pretty unbelievable, but it is vetted. In 2014, there was a Tinder match in Antarctica. And that is your fader fact. Let's get to the breaking news. More than a dozen U.S. states were under air quality alerts today as smoke from hundreds of Canadian wildfires as headed south, casting a dull gray pallor over city skylines and prompting officials to urge residents to remain indoors. Health officials from Vermont to South Carolina along the East Coast, as well as in Ohio and Kansas in the Midwest, urged millions of residents to limit their time outdoors, warning that fine particulates in the atmosphere could make breathing difficult and pose health risks. All right. And that includes schools, by the way. Recess is canceled. A deadly bacteria with a roughly 50% fatality rate worldwide has made its way to the United States Gulf Coast, where it has been declared an endemic by Centers for the Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC has confirmed 3 cases of infection from the bacteria, and this is what it's called, Burkholderia pseudomallei, which can cause potentially lethal melioidosis if not treated. The most recent case was reported in Mississippi in January. 2 others were confirmed in the same Mississippi county in July of 2020 and May of 2020. However, most of the people infected with the bacteria don't show symptoms and develop antibodies against it, meaning many more people are likely infected. In all 3 Mississippi cases, the patients have recovered. The first private mission to Venus won't launch this year after all. The Rocket Lab mission, which was initially set to launch last month, has been delayed till at least January of 2025. Rocket Lab announced its planned Venus mission in August of 2020, then fleshed out its architecture in a paper published in the journal Aerospace 2 years later. The primary goal is to investigate the Venus atmosphere to search for conditions needed for life to exist. Venus, the hottest planet in the solar system, is generally considered a hellscape, with a surface temperature hot enough to melt lead. Siberia's gateway to the underworld, it's a mega slump, is revealing 650,000-year-old secrets from its permafrost. Ground that has been frozen for 650,000 years is the oldest permafrost in Siberia and the second oldest ever discovered on Earth. The researchers took samples from the Batagay megaslump, a huge collapsed section of hillside in the Yana uplands in northern Yakutia, Russia, that is known to locals as the gateway to the underworld. The slump is a stark badlands in the midst of larch and birch woodlands. Deforestation, which started in the 1940s, led to erosion, which in turn caused increased seasonal melting of the permafrost in the frigid region, where winter temperatures average minus 40 degrees. The permafrost in this region is 80% ice. So the significant amounts of the melt caused the sediment in the hillside to collapse. And all of this, according to a paleomycologist at the Alfred Wegener Institute in Germany. Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos now top 200, twice as many as thought. A new study of the invasive mammals population in Colombia revealed there could be double the number experts previously estimated. All of this reported in the journal Nature. A study in 2021 estimated that there was around 98 individuals, but with a more recent census published in April, puts the population at about 215. The first case, listen to this. The first case of a crocodile who made herself pregnant has been identified at a zoo in Costa Rica. She produced a fetus that was 99.9% genetically identical to herself. The phenomenon is so-called the virgin birth and has been found in species of birds, fish, and other reptiles, but never before in crocodiles. The scientists say the trait might be inherited from an evolutionary ancestor, so dinosaurs might also have been capable of self-reproduction. The egg was laid by an 18-year-old female American crocodile in January of 2018. The fetus inside was fully formed but stillborn, and so it did not hatch. The research has been published in the Royal Society Journal, Biology Letters. Now, finally, I'm going to leave you with this. Scientists say they have built the first ever breathing, sweating, shivering robot designed to cope and adapt to different temperatures. The heat-sensitive thermal mannequin, dubbed Andy, features 35 individually controlled surfaces with pores that bead sweat like humans. Designed by U.S. firm Thermetrics, used by researchers at the Arizona State University, the robot was created to better help understand the health impacts of extreme temperatures on the human body when robots start cleaning our homes. There you go. That's all the Fade to Black breaking news that you need for this Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. Fade to Black breaking news is produced by Renee Newman. I want to remind everybody that tomorrow night we have a change in programming. Tomorrow night, John Greenwald of the Black Vault is joining us. We will be discussing in depth the U.S. whistleblower David Grush, who says the United States is in possession of flying saucers and alien bodies. What I don't understand about all of this is potentially the biggest news in the history of mankind, and it is being largely ignored by the media. This should be headlines around the world. I know that Fox News has recently covered it. News Nation has covered it. Finally, today, the Huffington Post has covered it, but nothing from CNN or the New York Times or the LA Times or the BBC. It's being largely ignored. We'll be discussing all of that and why tomorrow night with John Greenwald. I'm Jimmy Church. Go Beckley Tepe.